Hi guys, so I'm gonna take a jab at one of these kind of videos where I talk about anime, especially ones that I feel uh, kind of strike a chord with me, so to say, I suppose. So I'm gonna give this a go, see how it goes. So I'm gonna be talking about specifically Aldnoah Zero, season 2. But I want to stress to begin with what Aldnoah Zero is. So Aldnoah Zero is basically a mech show to do with a war between Martians and Earth, and predominantly the combat takes place in mechs. And season 1 takes place predominantly on Earth. Obviously, the Martians inhabit space and whatnot, and it basically becomes this power struggle as Martians want to take up more land, so to say. The original concept was so that they would forge an alliance between Earth and the Martians. This conspiracy happens, and Martians wage war on Earth. It's pretty much what it is. It's not really hugely interesting or complex. So I want to say that there was a lot of hype behind this show, with people like Genu Rabuchi, which wrote Fate Zero and Psycho Pass, was also responsible for Aldnoah Zero. We had director Aoki, I think that's how you say it. He was the director for Fate Zero, so obviously you can tell that there's definitely some hype about that around him doing it. And we also have Hiroyuki Sawano composing the music. One of the reasons why I actually went to go watch this show just simply because Hiroyuki Sawano was composing the soundtrack. Because anything by Hiroyuki Sawano tends to be absolute gold. So the reason why I'm making this video is Aldnoah Zero, at least the way I'm going to be talking about it, is Aldnoah Zero bad? No, it's not bad. There's a fair few people that don't like Aldnoah Zero, and for good reason. But is it a bad anime? And honestly, it's not bad, but it sure as shit has its problems. I want to stress this now that season 1 is very much enjoyable. If anything, I actually rather enjoyed season 1. The action and music that compiled together was absolutely fantastic. The only problem is that I had with season 1, essentially just the characters, they just weren't that great. They weren't something I could really care about, unfortunately, and the story is just kind of generic. But it's season 2 where everything just becomes all over the place. Honestly, it's completely baffling. So I'm going to get into the discussion about that. So I am going to warn you right now is that there will be spoilers from here on out. So if you guys want to watch the show and then come back and obviously have the discussion, that's completely up to you. But I'm obviously going to walk into spoiler territory very soon. So I'm going to start with season 1. I actually have notes around here so I can actually fuel my train of thought. Hopefully I don't end up just reciting it though. So season 1, as I said, is a very enjoyable watch. The action and music just blend so much together. I had a blast watching it with the action and music. I said the characters didn't really stand out for me because I just don't really care for them. They're just not really interesting. And honestly, at least how I felt, that there was no risks taken. They were never in any danger. The only time that I felt anyone was truly in danger was Inaho's sister, when she took that one risk of luring this knight to a position where I believe it was Inaho that shot down the knight. She basically was the lamb to slaughter, and if Inaho took any longer to do what he's going to do, she would have died. That's probably the only risk we see the cast take, and that's about it. A lot of people complain about how he's bland and uninteresting. He's emotionless, and yeah, I agree. He's quite bland. He's quite emotionless, and he's quite boring. But I have to be honest. Despite that, his over-analytic tendencies are quite entertaining, to the point that it almost reminds me of something like Lelouch from Code Geass, how he's able to predict. Guaranteed, we are talking more about observation and power rather than power from Code Geass. But it was quite fun to watch him overanalyze things and kind of describe what was going on. The only problem with this being is that no one else has any fucking... Like, no one else can think for themselves. in this anime. Literally, no one else can perform this sort of observation to be able to defeat the knights. To everyone else, the knights to seem this incapable, sorry, not incapable, this inopposable foe that they can't begin to even imagine how they're going to fight against. It takes a teenager in training to figure out how to defeat the knights, which is baffling, and I'll get on more to that later. Let's see. Okay, so going further on his analytic for a moment. In season 2, due to injuries, which I will get into, Inoho gets a mechanical eye because of what happens in episode 12, which further evidence his over-analytic skills. So he can over-analyze everything to an even further greater extent, which just feels at that point the director and the creator just give it like, you know what, fuck it, let's just give him a reason to be able to justify his theories. Just give him this over-analytic because for some reason, we've already done it, and people might find it bullshit. So let's just give him an analytic eye and call it a day. There's your explanation. He's got a mechanical eye, and this becomes more evident in season 2. I thought this would be a bit further on in my notes, but no one can think for themselves. In season 1, we explore the princess going undercover with the humans, and she eventually reveals herself. Now, it's not just Inoho that knows about the princess being among the humans. No, Princess aLIEz also reveals herself to the cast of the Deucalion, which at this point we can see that she can basically shift forms. Now, for whatever reason, in season 2, the princess basically is captured at that point, so to say. She basically becomes injured in episode 12, which I will get onto further on in a moment. And someone else takes her place and basically announces war on Earth. And this is broadcast throughout the Martian territories as well as Earth, declaring war on Earth. But for whatever reason, only Inoho is able to determine that she's a doppelganger. That it's not really her, it's someone imposing on her, it's someone, it's an imposter kind of thing. And everybody else is like, the fuck's going on? I thought she was our ally kind of thing. And it's just like, anyone with the power of Aldnoah can influence and shape their fucking well-being. Doesn't that not fucking ring a couple of bells? Not to mention Inoho, the guy that you've been trusting to kill the fucking knights due to his fucking mad theories, are also saying she's a fake, and you're like, oh, I don't know, but it just doesn't seem plausible. It's just like, fuck off. Like, no one can even begin to fathom that it's like, oh, she might be a fake. No one thinks about it. It takes Inoho to say it, and then they're like, no, maybe, but it's just baffling. Right, and then I'll get on to the injuries, because episode 12 was a great episode, and it was a great cliffhanger for the first season, because it just so much goes on, and it's like, oh my god, I can't wait to watch episode 13, and then the aftermath is just a huge slap in the face. It's unfucking believable. And then from then on, season 2 is a goddamn train wreck. So in episode 12, we see Princess aLIEz get shot and effectively killed. Inoho gets shot in the face. Slain ends up shooting Count, whatever his fucking name is. And basically in episode 13, we see Slain help the Count he's just shot, despite the fact he's just shot aLIEz, which he served. That was the whole purpose of his fucking time on fucking, what's it called? It's not Mars, it's whatever the fucking hell it's called. he served specifically for her. She wants this peace between Earth and Mars, and the Knights don't. The Knights want the Earth for themselves. So he saves the Count, and this part I understand. He saves the Count so he can take the princess back to Mars and use their technology in order to revive her. Perfectly fine with that. I get that part. Right? He sides with them for the sake of the princess. That's fine. My problem is that once that comes to fruition and he actually starts working for the Knights again, just for the sake of peace in between them and whatnot, I understand, right? But he actually gains traction in rank, and you think he's working his way up the ranks so he can work from the inside to basically say, right, I can influence the Martians from the inside to stop this war for the sake of Princess aLIEz and the people that we've worked with on Earth. The people that she's worked with on Earth. Slane doesn't actually interact with any of the Earthlings, which is probably one of the reasons why I can kind of understand why he doesn't see eye to eye with aLIEz, despite the fact he is part of them, but whatever. But despite the respect for her wishes, he throws her out the window and just continues working with the Martians, continue gaining his way up the rank, for the sake of the well-being for Mars, not for what Princess aLIEz wants. It's like, what side are you on? Please tell me, are you with the Martians or are you with the goodwill of the princess? Make your fucking mind up, man. That covers the princess from fucking Slane's progression to season 2. Inaho, on the other hand, he was shot in the head, right? He was shot in the eye. Evidence for the mechanical eye. But his revival sequence is absolute bullshit. Because of the Aldnoah influence from the CPR he delivers to the princess, the princess dies like fucking 3 times, man. The first time is a fake, the second time is legit, and for whatever reason she's brought back. It's just like, okay, fine. I mean, it's a bit absurd, but whatever. And the third time it's just like, God. Right? And the fact that they bring back the princess effectively twice, and they bring back Inaho on bullshit terms, it's just like, what the fuck is the point? What's the point of having this tension if you're not gonna fucking stick with it? At the end of episode 12, we see our 2 main driving forces for the show killed, and it's like, holy shit, where can we go from here? And then just for them to be revived, it's just like, oh, you're not taking any fucking risks. It's like 12 more episodes, the 2 of the main characters are dead. How can we go from here? Oh, they're back up so we can continue the fucking story. It's just like, fuck's sake. What on earth is the fucking... like, no tension whatsoever. You just rip it out. Anyway, back on topic. So due to the influence of Aldnoah from CPR and the blood splatter when she was shot gets spilt on Inaho's clothes, he was in the fucking cockpit to begin with of his mech, but for some reason the blood splatter still managed to make it onto his clothes. Okay, fine. But what baffles me is that despite at this point there is no lifeline for Princess aLIEz, right? Despite her lifeline's gone, and we already see previously that when she was choked to death and her lifeline had dissipated, the Deucalion shut off completely offline, which even further evidence why that CPR shouldn't have even fucking bothered to work in the pissing first place. Her lifeline was cut. That's why the Deucalion fucking collapsed. Oh, so again, it just makes me wonder why the fucking revival was there in the first place. Right? And then back in episode 13, Inaho's in critical condition and they need to be able to get back to base in order to basically repair him, fix him up, or else he's going to die. Deucalion, for obvious reasons, doesn't move. But for whatever reason, with no oath, right, to activate the drive, we've known that it needs an oath from someone with influence of Aldnoah, right? And the fact that somehow he has influence, I'm guessing that CPR was the drive for that influence, although I don't know if she was willing to give him Aldnoah, but with no oath, and a bit of blood splatter from clothing managed to revive the ship? Look! Oh my god. Again, when you acknowledge this stuff, it is just so infuriating. Like, story-wise. Like, season 1 was such a mindless action slugfest, but it was entertaining as balls. It was gorgeous. I loved the music. I loved the action. Story-wise, wasn't too engrossing, but it was enough to kind of string everything together and give it a reason to continue. And then season 2, not only is the story more of the focus in this one, it just throws people's incentives out the goddamn window. Like, literally, season 2, you spend more time trying to understand the motives of Slain than anything else. It's like, why does that guy still do what he does? Despite the fact of what he originally set out to do with Princess Salem, protect her and, ensure her well-being and make sure that she was able to do what she set out to do. Do I hate season 2? Is there any saving graces of season 2? Do I hate season? No, I don't necessarily hate season 2, but on a story plot-wise, it is absolutely insane. It is mental. Is there anything to save season 2? And honestly, there's not. Any tension in season 1 is completely gone in season 2 because we've just seen the point of where our main characters have been killed off and brought back. It's like, what's even the point? There's no risks taken. It's plot armor. And like I said, at that point, there's no tension is anywhere to be fucking seen at this point. And now with Inaho with his over-analytic eye, it just seems no point for him to die because he's the only resource for the humans to fight back against the Martians because they can't fucking think for themselves. I have never spoke this much in a video ever. The princess is preserved. The main crew are never in danger. They never feel like in danger. They're always in the right place at the right time. And with Inaho always spewing out the answers, there just never seem to be any risks to them guys ever dying, pretty much. I mean, the one night in season 2 that I felt was really cheap was the cloner night. It's just like, let's get all in a firing line and fire in this one direction, and somehow magically that just kills everybody without all the clones without fucking all at the same time. It's just like, very disappointing. Like, that seemed like one of the whole emphasis of danger, and then they're just like, oh yeah, let's just stand in the fucking line and shoot them. Jesus. Let's continue. Inaho. Yes. Throughout the entire series, except for the cannon fodder at the end in the huge war in space, Inaho kills every fucking night. There's only one time that I remember Inaho not killing one of the knights, and that was when they were fighting one of the cloners. When they were fighting the cloner, there was 3 knights. Count as. There was 3 knights. One of them was a stealth one. And if I recall correctly, she got took out by a sniper when her back was turned. But otherwise, every other fucking night we see in this show with special powers, it's Inaho killing every single one of them. It's like, why even have all the others on the fucking goddamn... they're just fucking distractions. The Decalion never suffers casualties amongst the main cast. They never seem to be in fucking danger. I think they have one incident, but that's about it. But again, everyone's okay. Not a problem. Yeah, that's another thing. Our characters are sent out into war. They take battle damage and everything, right? But the only thing they fucking lose is limbs of their mechs. Like all the other cannon fodder we see from the humans actually being in war and attacking, they get shot and they explode. They die. The main cast, they lose a limb. That's the most they fucking lose is a limb. It makes me think there's a fucking goddamn warehouse on this pissing ship. The amount of fucking limbs they've got to replace. Jesus Christ. And then the ending. Princess aLIEz eventually does wake up and she recovers and whatnot. And she declares her overthrowing the throne. She's become basically the queen of Mars. And she declares live, war ends. No one, you are prohibited from attacking Earth, kind of thing. Right, and at this point, Slane and his forces are already on the decline for failure, for defeat. So Slane orders his troops to retreat, and he's basically going to be the captain and go down with the space station, the ship, whatever. And then, as they retreat, the knights decide, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? We swore loyalty to Slane, and we're going to fight for Slane, despite the fact that Slane has already fucking given up. He's destined for death, and these are like, nah, fuck it, we'll join him. And then it just becomes this case of, like, our cause is now lost. There's no reason to continue fighting, but you know what? Fuck it, why not? And his motivation was in a whole scene, that fucking orange mech flying around in space. He's like, fuck it, if I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna take that get with me kind of thing. Yeah. So he overthrows the throne. aLIEz overthrows the throne. Slane decides, screw it, I've got nothing to lose now. I'm just going to attack the humans, because why not? And it just seems pointless. It's like, I understand the whole effort, the whole thing of, like, you don't want your efforts to go to waste. You don't want your efforts in vain and the loyalty to be lost in your troops and all that kind of stuff. But at this point, they're just outcasts. Doing it for nothing. They have nothing to gain. The only thing they have to gain is the sweet sorrow of fucking death. And the thing is, why go out swinging? It's like, at this point you've lost, and it's as simple as that. You continue your fight now. You've got no place to fucking call home after that. And they're just like, screw it. We'll accept death. Death is coming for us, and that's that. We'll fight an honourable death, despite no one will remember us for it. Not positively anyway. And then the ending was so poetic, because Slane is the last one left alive. Inaho actually saves his goddamn life, and is the only one left to atone for his sin in solitary confinement on Earth, after the original goal that he set out to do with Princess aLIEz is achieved. aLIEz builds this world with Earth without Slane in it. And at that point, he is only in confinement asking for death. And yeah, he gets words from the person that he once deemed worthy and that he doesn't deserve anymore. The person that he once served to go and achieve this goal that he's no longer a part of, and built their world without him, because he turned his back because... yeah. I don't know. There's no reason for him to just turn tail and run from what he originally set out to do with Princess aLIEz. And it makes me wonder, because in season 1 we see him being abused by the Martians, slandered by the Martians, because he's this person from Earth on Mars. You wonder why he continued to do what he does. And the thing is, he swore loyalty to Princess aLIEz, who wanted this. So why didn't he gun for a better world with the power he had? That's what you tried to ascertain throughout the entire season 2, as to why he doesn't go for that goal. Oh jeez. So season 2, I mean, the tension's gone, the story's completely out the window, despite not being complex in the first place, but then just comes a case of what the fuck's going on in Slane's fucking head. The action just kind of drones down because of the lost tension. None of our characters ever feel in danger at this point, so any actions just kind of like, unless there's some sort of clever strategy to defeat a knight, that's about all you're getting. That's about it. So it makes me wonder what the fluckety fluck were they trying to achieve with season 2? They were just basically piddling around. So season 1, great, bit of fun, quite entertaining, very much enjoyable, at least I believe so. And like episode 1 is mind blowing with what happens. The absolute mass slaughter in episode 12 was absolutely fantastic and sets up for a great cliffhanger for season 2. The fuck. Episode 13 blows it out the water, and to be honest, for anyone that basically says screw it to season 2, I'm not bloody surprised. Season 2 was a bit harder to watch and enjoy. I enjoyed the set pieces, the action set pieces, for what they were, the music that still persisted throughout them, because it sent shivers down my spine in season 1, and season 2 had absolute astounding potential. But bogged down by some bullshit means a fucking unbelievable mindfuck as to what's going on with Slain, and the story just kind of going completely out the window, and no longer any tension. So the action sequences, while still enjoyable depending on how technical the mechs can be as to how to defeat them, Aldnoah OST season 2 just becomes a slog. I mean, I watched it in bite-sized pieces because there's like 3 episodes per disc, so I was pretty much watching a disc a night kind of thing. So it didn't overstay its welcome per se, but it certainly did bog down and reveal its problems in season 2 unbelievably so. So I think season 1 was definitely enjoyable, not amazing by any means, but definitely enjoyable for its action set pieces and music. But season 2 absolutely blows the story out of proportion. And if people were to skip season 2, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, jeez. Never made a huge ass video like this. If you do make it to the end of the video, great, well done. I'm honestly expecting this to just play in the background, and I'm expecting my editing efforts to go to waste, really. But Aldnoah 0, I mean, first season good, second season, what the fuck? So if you've seen it, let me know, and just join in on the discussion as to the absolute train wreck that season 2 is. If you want more videos like this, or you like me kind of talking about shows that I can't stand or have problems with or whatever, because maybe my over-eccentricness and colourful language makes it enjoyable to watch or listen to, let me know. But yes, Aldnoah OST season 2, holy cow. As always, take care, have fun.